Well, hello, everyone. Happy afternoon. Thanks for sticking around. Before we dive in, just what an honor it is to be here. A couple of Sales Enablement Seattle conferences ago, we began our foray into go-to-market enablement, and it's so special to see friends, customers, mentors here with us. So, of course, we've got Carissa from Salesforce, we've got Bit from Braintrust, I'm seeing Nate over here, we've got Alex from Visa, Kelly from Revenue Insiders, we've got our Microsoft team here, so it's awesome to be here with everyone. Thanks so much for your support along the years, and continuing to push Yoodli into what it's become and what it's evolving into, so really appreciate it. My name is Esha, I'm one of the co-founders at Yoodli, and I fundamentally believe that when people don't get the opportunities they deserve because they don't back themselves up when they speak, it is unfair and not right. And so Yoodli was created to do just this. For every version of me up here, there is a quiet genius or a underrepresented voice. A non-native English speaker, a woman who's been talked over, an introvert, an immigrant who hasn't been able to play the game. And so we built Yoodli to give people that voice. And ever since we built Yoodli, oh my gosh, we've seen a whole host of use cases been applied and used, such as someone saying, I haven't interviewed in 2 years. How do I explain that 2-year gap on my CV? To, oh my gosh, it's been a while since I've been on a date. What questions do I ask? When do I even ask them? To, I'm a non-native English speaker. I've got an idea that I want to present, but how do I show up with confidence? And of course, I'm an AE starting at a new company. It's got very high expectations. How do I ace my product pitch? So we built Yoodli for all of those use cases. But of course, our bread and butter is go-to-market enablement. So pricing, packaging, feature enablement, cold calls, pitch certifications, the AE handoff, the 4th or 5th procurement call, any kind of onboarding and very complex sales conversations. That is what Yoodli is being used for. And of course, Yoodli is also used by folks like Salesforce, Google, Databricks, Sandler, Snowflake, SAP, ServiceNow, and many more. So truly an honor to be up here and sort of share the stage with someone who can speak a little bit more on this. Now, what I will say is AI roleplays are buzzy, very, very buzzy. We've been hearing about it for the last probably 6 or 7 times even today. So I totally recognize that. So what I want to do is start off with just a quick exercise. So show of hands, how many of you are currently evaluating AI roleplay solutions? Okay, fantastic. How many of you have an AI roleplay solution as part of your tech stack? Okay. Now keep your hands raised if you're confident that the roleplay solution is changing behavior as opposed to just logging completions. Okay, so some hands went up, some hands went down. That gap is the goal for today's session. So I'm not going to try and share with you what has to happen for that to take place, but instead I thought we would invite an industry expert from one of the most sophisticated accounts, Salesforce. Now, Salesforce is a very interesting account for a number of reasons. They've got 50,000 sellers, customer success managers, solutions engineers, professional services consultants, and partners that they have to train daily and scale new training often. It's an interesting account because, number one, they go through org changes often, and so they always have different priorities based on new leadership that comes in. Number two, they've got a very, very robust compliance process. And boy, let me tell you, they put us through the ringer. No question. Number three, they invented the CRM and Agentforce. So this question of do they build their own in-house solution versus do they partner with an external solution is a meaningful one that we'll dive into today. And last, probably unexpectedly, they're a pretty demanding customer as well. Now again, with 50,000 people that you have to train and scale, how do we keep up with that? So, very excited to welcome Carissa Chang, who leads enablement strategy and learning design at Salesforce, to the stage.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Esha. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. As Esha said, my name is Carissa Chang. I lead strategy, operations, and learning design for the enablement team at Salesforce that's accountable for 20,000 of those learners that Esha just mentioned. In a previous life, I see lots of friends from that previous life, I led post-sales enablement for Tableau as well, so a deeply technical company. And experiential learning, like you can have in Yoodli, is also very personal for me. Outside of my day job, I'm a teacher. I teach STEM and I teach my indigenous language to learners from 5 to 82. And I'm also used to being the first or the only in a space. So the first in my family to get an advanced degree. I have a master's in software engineering. The first indigenous woman, the only indigenous woman in tech spaces. And so that experience of needing to become confident quickly in a new world is really personal to me. And what I've learned as an enablement leader, as a teacher, and just from my own development, is there's no substitute for just doing the thing and learning from it. And that's the hardest thing to do at scale for our learners, especially when I have 20,000 of them. So I'm really excited about experiential learning at scale and excited to talk to you all today.
Okay, thanks for being here. Please kick us off with the why behind why you went out and ventured for a solution in the first place.
Yeah, I think everyone's used to equating Salesforce with innovation. We move quickly, sometimes blindingly so. That's getting faster every year, especially the last couple years with AI innovations and Agentforce. We are moving at blinding speeds. That's from our product and the features that we ship, but also what we expect out of our roles. Their jobs are changing, the skills they need are changing far too quickly for us to keep up with the way we are used to enabling. And when I say the way we're used to enabling, I mean the classic pull everyone out for a live classroom experience, get an e-learning course, have everyone go through it. And in both of those instances, there's two ways that's falling behind for us. One, we can measure, did someone show up? Did they like it? Do they think it was cool? We can't really measure, did it have an impact with that type of learning in any way that stands up to a lot of data scrutiny, and from Tableau, that's really important to me. And the second is, we just can't build them fast enough. By the time you've built a really top-level live learning experience or an e-learning curriculum to go out, it's wrong or out of date. And so we need to really rethink enablement and what we deliver and have it move from compliance-based, point-in-time, large production value to something that people want to do on their own and that we can see the business impact of as fast as humanly possible.
Okay. What went into the decision? And I specifically, I'm asking from the standpoint of Salesforce, as I mentioned, does tend to build internally, including having their own internal solution. And so what made Salesforce venture out and look at other solutions?
Yeah, I think this is really a question that businesses of all sizes are looking at, not just large enterprises like Salesforce. It's like AI coding tools open up to even small businesses the ability to make your own tools. There are some key criteria that we would look for in any vendor before we even bring them in the door. And those are, one, it really needs to be easy to use. Easy for us as enablement practitioners to be building content that we are proud to take to market. Easy for our learners to engage with. It can't be 20 clicks. It can't be hopping from one system to another system to get your results. We have to really remove any barriers to engagement for our learners. And the next thing for us that's really critical is deeply customizing the rubrics, customizing the scenarios. Just on my team, we have more than 30 different customer-facing roles that we enable. They all have their own processes. They all have their own ways of doing things. We're a global company, so we have all regional cultural differences. Whatever tool we use has to be deeply customizable and easy to customize, back to the first one. And then for us also, as Esha alluded to, we are a company with a lot of compliance guidelines and regulatory guidelines. We say trust is our #1 value, and we mean it. So we need a platform that can have the data integrity, can protect our IP, can have our data there, keep it secure, but also available for us. And we need to see that data. We need to prove the impact of the tool to our leaders, prove the investment, and frankly, prove it to our learners to keep them engaged and motivated coming back. And the last one that's maybe a little more Salesforce specific is we have a really robust skills assessment and enablement culture where every role we know the top skills they need to have. They know what they need to be working on. So we needed a tool that could plug into that instead of being counter to the way that we think enablement should work. But that's also just what it took to get in the door with us.
Yeah, if I can add something onto that, I think one of the trends that I hear across many enterprises is this idea of a customization of rubric. So folks will have, 2-win, corporate visions, challenger, whatever methodology they have. At Salesforce, you take that methodology and you blow it up. You've got that with Salesforce logic on top, different flavors across different regions, your CSM methodology slightly different than your LATAM AE methodology. And so massive complexity of complex matrix-oriented rubrics that we then had to put in the platform. And it was very challenging for us, but we absolutely loved it. And I just think I wanted to double click on how it's not sort of standard, but it's even more than that, especially coming from a large enterprise like Google or Salesforce.
Yeah, complexity is the name of the game at Salesforce. And then for us getting in the door, the next thing is really important to show success signals really quickly to justify the big investment that we wanted. In standard Salesforce fashion, we decided to pilot at our company kickoff, our biggest flagship enablement event of the year. That's where we would try it first, and we would try it on a role that was brand new. So our success manager function went through a huge transformation about 18 months ago, and we decided to bring all of them together live at our company kickoff with a simulation where all of the practice is powered by Yoodli. So live at once, 2,500 success managers and their frontline leaders transforming their whole role. No pressure for Esha and the team, just see if they could scale, see if we could do it. We made it out alive, and it went fantastic. So we had high CSAT in every region across the board. Everyone that we talked to said, this is phenomenal. More important to us, though, we saw impact of more than 20% across the board in every skill goal that we had set for those folks. And we left it on for them. We didn't advertise it, we didn't push it, we just said, hey, this is here if you want it. Over 10% of the team came back on their own organically in the weeks after and were practicing again and again, which meant we started to hear from other teams. Said, so we heard that success managers got this tool. How do we get access to? So we started to see organic demand really quickly that's led to us continuously rolling out more and more role plays since then. The third thing on here was a little bit of a surprise to me. I don't know that I expected it or really appreciated it when we made the decision to work with Yoodli, but it is really critical to find a partner that can innovate as fast as you can. So something that's really come out in our partnership over the last 18 months is we will come to Esha and team with our successes, we'll come to them with obstacles, ideas for improvement, and like that, they will come back to us with features and functionality we didn't know to ask for, that meet our needs, that are ready right away. We can move faster with them than we often move working internally across 12 different teams and needing approvals and budgets because we're working directly with them. And they also hold themselves to a really high accountability bar for responsiveness, for delivering what they say they will deliver it, for being really transparent. We really have a two-way partnership. And this is something that I'll be looking with for any partner I consider in the future because it's been so critical to how fast we can move.
Okay, thank you. All right, so 18 months have passed. One of the things I always want to ask with anyone we work with is, what is the ROI that you are seeing? So we've got 3 rollouts here. Would love for you to share more.
Yeah, I'd like to focus on the one at the top. This is our account success team, which is our customer success managers. So that same team that we piloted with, they came back to us again this year with another huge transformation. As agents and AI rolls out, a lot of our business is shifting from license to driving adoption and consumption. That's suddenly the most important thing. We're asking them to work in a totally different way. So again, we brought them together at our sales kickoff. We did a live simulation. And what's different this year is we rolled out a series of role plays over the next couple months following that for our success managers to practice articulating our value, driving adoption, driving effective follow-ups, because you need to be a partner along the entire consumption journey, not just there and gone, and companion role plays for their front-level leaders to practice coaching those no behaviors. So not only can they see what their teams are being developed on, they're getting developed themselves. We saw such huge uptake in the first 3 weeks after we launched it. We had 63,000 minutes of role plays happen. That's 1,000 hours of people going in and practicing. And we saw skills north of 20% improved right away, with CSMs being able to walk into a customer conversation with confidence and drive the business in a totally different direction. I know we don't have a lot of time, so I can't dig into the other two examples, but I thought it was really important to include them because they're totally different audiences. It's our sellers and professional services. It's our delivery team who's going on site with customers to implement. They're practicing different skill sets. They're practicing different methodologies, but we see the same results. We see high engagement. We see high skill development. We see really high sentiment. Not only are people improving, but they love it. It is the first time I've had people ask me, can I please do more practice? It's working really well for us. And last but not least, in the fine print at the bottom, because we are Tableau and Salesforce, we're a little bit stubborn. Yoodli has fantastic AI and analytics in the platform. As a leader, you can see how your team is doing, where to coach them, trends. It's all right there. My execs want to see it in Tableau. That was not a blocker for Yoodli. We worked together to build secure data pipelines, so we have all the data ourselves. We can marry it with our business data, and we have dashboards internally for our org leaders, for us to see the health of a program, but also every frontline manager can see the skill improvement of every person on their team and walk into a coaching conversation knowing exactly what to talk about instead of having to try to figure it out. It's right there for them, and that's been a huge unlock for us in driving productivity.
3 additional things I'd flag from an end to rollout standpoint. So the first is the manager unlock. Nate, I know you speak a lot about manager enablement as sort of the one group of enablement that doesn't often get the kind of love and attention it needs. And I think very specifically here, with some of the manager coaching capabilities that we've built in, we have found that a manager can now not just coach sort of the loud person, but a quiet person in the back who might need a little bit more attention. So given the Tableau dashboards and the data quality pipeline, what we can do is we can give a manager in fine print for each of their reps strengths and weaknesses so that they can make the most out of their one-on-one time with their direct reports. And this is also kind of going in line with saving time for managers so that they can show up to their conversations really effectively. The second I'd flag is this idea of Big Brother. And I think this is absolutely the case at Salesforce in terms of the quality, but Yoodli is not a Big Brother tool. We set out to be a private, judgment-free AI speech coach. That is why we built Yoodli in the first place, and we've retained some of the most philosophical components of that, which is giving people a place to practice. And so we will never sort of actively share recordings without consent from the actual learner themselves. And I think this is really helpful because if you are a rep that is clocking in $2 million a quarter, but you're too afraid to say, hey, I don't actually know how to use Claude, but I don't want to say anything about it, Yoodli will give you the opportunity to practice how you can involve and use Claude in your daily workflow. So that's number 2. And then the third, which is kind of like a personal, like feel-good moment, is this idea of people bringing Yoodli home with them. And what I mean by that is this idea of I bring Yoodli home and I see my child who has a stutter who's able to practice on Yoodli. My spouse who's interviewing for a job who then gets to practice on Yoodli. And my personal favorite, somebody who used to be at Google, went home, practiced for their Salesforce interview on Yoodli, then switched and went to Salesforce, and then started using Yoodli at Salesforce and saying, this has like changed the way that I prepare for my meetings, prepare for my sales calls, and also just prepare for my life. And so, feel good is important too. Okay, great. So AI role plays are table stakes. most of us will think about AI role plays from the standpoint of cold calling and pitch certification. That's like saying that your iPhone is just meant for phone calls, and that's it. Role plays are so much more than that. And one of the beliefs we have at Yoodli is that learning is experiential. And so you learn a concept, you practice that concept, and then you apply that concept in the real world. And so I'll flip a question that much of leadership at different companies are posing to us, which is, it's not enough to just give people access to AI tools. How do we actually ensure that they're adopting AI tools? So my question back to them is, how can we use experiential AI tutors to help people learn skills with Claude, with ChatGPT, Copilot, Gemini, et cetera? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a very, very quick demo on what that looks like in Yoodli to sort of expand our horizon from role plays just for cold calls and discovery practice to learning complex topics like AI skill fluency. Now, first thing is when you come into the platform, we've got a number of templates here. And so tutor is what we're going to talk about right now, but tutor is also baked into learning how to use ChatGPT to be more productive, being comfortable with HubSpot. So if you're doing a big tool migration, new CRM, new LMS, new CMS, you can actually have your reps learn that using tutoring on Yoodli. Everboarding is a large use case as well. Our team ships 2 times a week. I would not be happy if Daniel in the back is demoing features from 3 weeks ago. And so what Daniel has to do, and Sasha, is that they get a tutor each week pushed to them via Slack. That's 7 minutes of enablement on the new features that have been released and how it relates to an enterprise AE versus an SMB AE versus a CSM. And then, of course, we have the standard cold sales call, inbound customer discovery. Many of our customers are using these today, as well as other sides of the house in a corporation, manager performance review, manager skills review. So going into teaching someone how to use Gemini, we're going to attempt to do a live demo with the Wi-Fi. And if it doesn't work, we've got a video. So in this case, I'm going to speak to Alex Rodriguez, who's a Gemini training specialist at Google. And my rubric here is Gemini gem creation proficiency. So it's different from the why change, why now, why you, or demo to win. It's different from all of these bespoke rubrics. It's very specific to, do you understand the job and do you understand the task? Now, of course, I can practice in any major language. And let's see how this goes, fingers crossed.
I'm Alex Rodriguez, a Gemini training specialist here at Google. I have trained over 200 professionals on Gemini, and I'm excited to help you get up to speed today. What's your experience level with Gemini so far?
Hey, Alex, thanks very much. So yeah, I've used ChatGPT. I use it for cooking mainly. I don't have a ton of time, heads up, but I'd love to better understand because I'm being told that I need to learn how to use Gemini for my work.
Got it. So you're familiar with AI tools, which is great. Let me show you what makes Gemini different and how it can actually fit into your work faster than you might think. This is the Gemini welcome screen. You've got your prompt input field right here where you type or speak what you need. Below
hey,
that
Alex, are quick... makes sense. This looks a lot like ChatGPT. Can you show me something a little bit more interesting, a little bit more complicated?
Perfect. Let me show you what sets Gemini apart. This is where the real power comes in for work. This is gems. Think of them as specialized versions of Gemini that you can customize for specific tasks.
Hey, Alex, this is interesting. Wondering if I could actually share my screen and you can instruct me on how to create a gem. Would that work?
Absolutely. That's exactly what I want to do. Go ahead and share your screen and we'll build one together from scratch.
Okay, can't wait. If you could stop sharing your screen, I'll go ahead and share mine.
Go ahead, I'm ready.
Okay, as am I. All right, here we go. So, Alex, are you seeing Gemini by any chance?
Yes, I'm seeing it. Perfect. So you're already logged in and on the main chat screen. Let's create a new gem. You should see a sidebar on the left with navigation options. Do you see where it says gems in that sidebar?
Yeah, okay, so now what?
Great, you're in the gem manager. Now click that blue button that says new gem and we'll start building yours.
Okay, awesome. I think you all get the gist. The idea here is a couple things have happened. Number one, I was able to the AI was able to share its screen and teach me what to do. Right? In this case, it was Gemini. It could have been a deck, it could have been a video, it could have been a PDF. And then the second is it asked me to share my screen. Now that is the doing when we talk about the learn, practice, do. Now I'm sharing my screen and it's instructing me to create a gem on Gemini. And then the last is, this was a very active experience. It is not a role play where I'm just going through and answering regular objections. That's there as well, but this is one where I'm directing the AI and telling it exactly what I want it to do based on the learning that I have. So that's part of Yoodli today, and we're very excited about it. And this actually brings us to the next section, which is learnings. And so I'm curious, Carissa, if you can share a little bit more about what you would do differently if you were 6 months behind.
Yeah, we have learned a lot of lessons about our learners, about enablement, about AI as an enablement platform. I thought about which ones were the 3 areas I would tell someone new starting out today so you could learn from what we learned. The first is that AI fatigue is real. At this point, people are hearing about AI 20 times a day. All of your employees probably have a checklist of things they're supposed to know or read or do differently because of AI. We can't end up being another thing on that checklist. So it's very important that when you're rolling out role plays, they directly apply to their jobs. They can see and feel themselves getting better. They can see the impact to their work. So being really intentional and what we create for them and what we're asking of them is key. The second is really have to trust what the platform can do for you. This is a little bit of a rewiring of our enablement brains. I think we're used to hearing drive enablement at scale, and what that has meant for roles like mine, 20,000 learners, 30 different roles. What are the common things all those people need to know? And how can we design a scenario and an assessment that feels close enough to be relevant, that they feel seen, but not so detailed that another role doesn't feel left out? And what you do when you design enablement that way is you put together a broad goal and you get real broad results. You don't get results down at the role-specific behaviors you need to drive because that's not what you're enabling. Key difference with Yoodli and using them is you go specific. Tune your personas, tune your goals, tune your rubrics to be as role-specific and realistic as possible, and trust Yoodli to scale them for you. So it's been a big mental shift in my team, at least, about what enablement at scale means and what's possible. And then the last is really, I'll be honest, we're not using Yoodli as broadly as we could today. We engage them for AI role plays, which they're fantastic at. That's what we've centered all our learning on. But like you saw with Tutor with Esha just now, a lot more is possible. That's where my team is going next. So don't just think about Yoodli and AI role play as a tool you use on its own. It needs to be part of an enablement journey to be really impactful. Oh my gosh, we're almost out of time. I'll go fast. What's next for us? So my sister team that enables our sales and pre-sales organizations is rolling out Claude to all our solutions engineers. We see north of a 50% productivity increase in folks that are confident enough to use it, but we need them to use it in our guardrails and our guidelines in the right way to protect all our customer data and all of our IP. We're using Yoodli to have them learn to use it the right way the first time at scale. We're going to be piloting instant product enablement. We ship over 1,000 features a release across our products, and I have 20,000 learners that need to learn about it. They don't have the time to consume it. I don't have the time to build it. We're going to take all the release documentation that's getting created already and automatically turn it into enablement they can consume in the flow of work right before they talk to a customer. And if that works, and I'm confident that it will, we're going to roll it across all our products for our next release. And then the last is so many teams are coming on board. My team won't be the only one creating role plays really soon. We're onboarding other learning teams at the company, and we want to make sure we maintain our high bar for impact and quality. So we're publishing all of our tested personas, all of our goals, all of the rubrics already tuned to Salesforce processes and standards, so they can start with all of our lessons learned out of the box instead of starting from scratch. And I'm crossing my fingers that it all goes really well.
Amazing. We are running low on time, and so if there's anything that I'd like to leave with the group today, it's 3 things. The first is you're choosing a partner, you're not choosing a vendor. Choose someone that pushes you as much as Salesforce has pushed us. The second is role plays are beyond just the conversation skills of discovery, et cetera. They can do so much more. AI skill fluency, product enablement, et cetera. And there's a whole world out there where we're no longer practicing in a legacy LMS, and instead we're learning on the job and practicing in real time, aligned to what makes sense for you in the flow of work. And the last I would say is, well, I actually forgot. So instead, just keeping it real, so instead what I'll do is just show the slide over here of just who we all are. Thank you very much, Carissa, for coming on stage and speaking a little bit about your experience with Yoodli. We've got Bit from Brain Trust sitting up here as well, who can also speak to how he rolls out Yoodli. And then the team is Daniel in the back over there, and then Sasha, who's up here. We are outside. Please come and chat with us. We'd love to chat with you about how we can help you all achieve what you're trying to do too. So thanks very much. Do we have time for questions?
Okay. So the role play, the rubrics, what is the size of your team? I'm wondering about what the resources and time that are required to create, say, a role play.
Yeah, so it's really quick. There are a lot of assistive AI and tools in Yoodli where you can upload your playbooks, your decks, your PDFs on your processes, and it will generate automatically for you. There is also an instance where you want to spend some time really tuning a complicated role play scenario. That's even just a couple weeks. So my team, I have 8 designers, 4 of whom actively work on Yoodli today, and we've built in standard discovery templates let us ask the right questions, but it's shockingly fast to build things with high quality.
Thank you so much, Carissa, for sharing the use cases and how you're leveraging this. Really exciting. Can you all both talk a little bit about how you are able to embed this and how you're thinking about embedding this in the flow of work based on signals at the moment of need, when I identify gaps, prepping before a call? Like, how are you thinking about doing that either today or in the future from a product roadmap perspective even?
Yeah.
I'm really excited to hear that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the way we think about it is twofold. One is push-based enablement, and the other is pull-based enablement. So with push-based enablement, one is via a Slack integration, which Salesforce has just set up, and that's what they're going to be doing as part of their week-over-week product enablement. Push enablement also comes in the form of a calendar integration, where you automatically have practice time scheduled on your calendar, or you automatically send briefs to your email or to Slack that include how you prep for a call tomorrow, including role plays that are generated, tutors and role plays that are generated on what you need. Slack integration is live. The rest will come out in the next month. And then pull-based enablement is a little bit of a where the rep comes and does their own kind of practice. So today, Carissa talked about how 18 months ago with the pilot, we saw 10% of folks come back and create their own role plays. 2 things of note there. 1, 10% is much higher now than it was then. And 2, as a learner, you can create your own role play. And so you're not just beholden to what the learning team creates. You can create your own, and based on the governance they're putting in place, the skills are aligned throughout. So whether I create one or Daniel creates one, there's still the skills applied from what Carissa has created. The other component of pull-based enablement is via an MCP server. So we have a Yoodli MCP that connects with Claude, and we use it at Yoodli. Bit uses it. He can speak to it as well. We're able to auto-generate role plays based on skills that you've created in Claude. And so some of our more advanced customers are using that. Happy to chat with you about it too.
All right. Was I right about this dynamic duo or what? Thank you, ladies, so much. And if you have more questions for them, please go see them out at the table and all those people that they mentioned. Thank you.
All right, thanks.